Welcome to another edition of Closer to Home Small Business Spotlight. Moving is challenging enough, but when you're trying to declutter, when you're trying to figure out, do we donate this, do we sell this or whatnot, you're looking for options on even where to begin, where to go. Today I'm sitting with Bob Schmidt, who is the owner of the local franchise for Junkluggers, to help answer a lot of those questions. I've found, well, I'll start, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Courtesy that way first. But I found there's a little bit of a difference in the conversations we've had and what you offer as options for people. So can you tell me just a little bit about how you got involved with Junkluggers, when you brought this franchise in, and just a little bit about yourself, your background?
Yeah, so was in the corporate life for 25 plus years in technology. Pandemic hit, and we all asked ourselves, are we doing what we really want to do?
There's a lot of that conversation. Yes.
So, there were unique opportunities at the time that presented themselves, and I had took advantage of those opportunities and decided to jump in and be my own business owner.
Okay.
And, there are so many thoughts, ideas out there of what you could do. Of course, being, still on the tail end of the pandemic in theory, we thought, well, what can we do that, well, I can't do that because you gotta meet people. Kind of hard to do that during that time. So decided to, get the help of a franchise coach, and he introduced me to a lot of our different concepts, and this one, Junkluggers, really resonated.
Well, what an interesting for timing too, because people then started to rehab their homes and they started to clean things out and they started to. So for you, timing wise, that must have been a key piece.
It was, because no one knew the future at the time.
Sure.
And junk removal was identified as an essential service. So I was like, okay, well, at least there's that.
Right.
And, like you said, that people were being introspective in their homes and literally inspecting their homes and getting rid of things. And, there was a lot of momentum and thoughts to this new way of cleansing and clearing and getting rid of things. So,
sure. Okay.
Yeah, people, it was a business that was, I think, erupting. As we see, there are a lot of other companies out there that do the same thing. And like I said before, this one really resonated with me because of their mission.
So I want to actually jump right into that as well. We just recently worked on a project together as well, where the sellers were out of state, and to come back and empty a house and to do all these things would have been very challenging, and we had that discussion, but to them it was very important that there were options for this really nice furniture that was available in the house. So a little bit about your mission and what you do that's a little bit different.
Yeah, so founded by Josh Cohen, he really wanted to make sure that his organization, his business gave back, right? Not only to people in the community, but also to the environment. So he really was set on making sure that we don't throw things away.
Okay.
And with that, we have a big, hairy, audacious goal to no longer throw reusable items into landfills. The numbers are staggering. We can do a lot of internet searches and find those out. But the point is, we want to make sure we're repurposing as much as possible. So that's really the mission, is to how do we help our community, how do we help our environment, and what we do every day.
So you have a lot of partnerships out there. I know we've talked Center of Concern here in Des Plaines is one of them that we've talked about. You must have a lot of partners that you're able to reach out to then when you come into having items that are donatable and in good condition.
Yeah, and it actually creates a lot of joy for us too, because when we get to see not only our partners being able to help us and us help the partners with providing, right, things that are still of great use, but to see the end consumer, the person who's benefiting from the donations and everything, is really fulfilling.
Gotcha.
We work with not only with like Center of Concern, Habitat for Humanity, Restore, Lazarus House, Pads of Elgin, I mean, you name it. There are lots of organizations, and we're getting great partnerships with them. We just signed on with an organization called Thresholds.
Okay.
So they are helping veterans move into homes that have been homeless.
Okay.
So they're working with another organization called Sharing Connections, right? They're getting furniture from them. So we're coming in there and being an intermediary as well. And it's really, like I said, it is fulfilling to be able to help a lot of these organizations and the people in the long run.
And hopefully that anyone who needs to go through this process, that helps them as well. Because landfills, I mean, there's so much discussion about where does it go, and I don't want to do that, and that's helpful. When someone reaches out to you, what does that process look like for you when someone says, oh, this is what I have, what's the cost? What's it going to do? What's the timeline?
Right.
How does that go for you?
Right. So one of the things that I do want to mention, just because people do ask, and as we
Sure.
are a for-profit business.
Sure.
So we are a regular business. However, we have a very philanthropic approach. And so when people ask, we always remind them that, yes, this is a paid service,
Sure.
Which is important to understand. So the process is we go out, we provide an estimate. Estimates are based on our volume, and we look at the items and we look and evaluate, what can be donated, what needs to be recycled, and so on. We start to sort that out in our mind, and then we put together some pricing for that. Ultimately, in the end run, and I think this goes back to your very first point, and that is, people are moving, people are decluttering. There's a lot of things going on. That's enough stress in itself,
Yes.
right? So, people say, or it's known that moving is one of the most stressful things in your life, and so we're really there to ease it, right?
Yep.
We want to make sure that it's as easy as possible. We want to make sure that our customers are at ease and don't have any stresses around that part of it, right? So we're there to not only be able to make sure that we put things back into play and repurpose them for our customers, but also to help connect them with others, right? If there are other services they need, or if they have some items they need to get recycled, or if they need to move a couple things from here to location A to location B as part of the overall process. We want to be there to just provide them as much help as possible to achieve their goal.
Right.
And we've had a lot of our customers just say, well, thank you so much. It was such a relief to not have to worry about this, that, or the other. And and it's worked out really well.
And I can certainly speak to that on this side. The communication was great in the process of walking through and saying, this is what we believe it's going to be. Here's the estimate we believe it's going to be. And as I recall, and I'm speaking out of turn on this, I think the comforting thing as well is this is the max it's going to be. If it turns out that other things leave or it's going to be a little bit less, we're going to tell you it's going to be less. But we're not going to come in and go, oh, well, it's now more. And that, I think, is a big relief for people as well, as here's the ceiling. So.
Yeah, in that whole process, right, people have a budget to work on.
Sure.
Right, and we want to make sure that from the very beginning, the budget is understood and that we work to that budget.
That's awesome.
And when you look at our green guarantees, one of which is price assurance. We want to make sure that upfront you're absolutely know that what's going to cost.
Okay.
If there's any mistakes, that's on us. Right. Now the awesome thing is you benefit, because if we made the mistake in your favor, meaning that we overestimated, we'll bring the price down.
Right.
Right. We'll make that adjustment, and that that really resonates with our customers.
It certainly does. That's all really helpful information, and I think different than what a lot of people may believe. Just the 1-800 people, and there are options, is what I want people to know. So I appreciate you spending time and talking through that.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Thank you very much. If you have additional questions about Junkluggers, I'll get Bob's information into the link. You can reach out to Junkluggers, reach out to Bob. If you have questions about real estate in Park Ridge or the surrounding areas, don't ever hesitate to reach out. I'm always happy to help. And remember, when you work with Paul, you're closer to home.